Global petrochemical capacity was down over the week, but is expected to return by the end of this week. The Petrochemical Weekly Update starts now. It is hard to believe that in 2020, the average price for a barrel of crude oil was $40. That is about half of where it stands today. With high crude prices and soaring gasoline prices, the Biden administration is feeling the pressure to tap into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to relieve some pressure at the pumps ahead of the holiday driving season. But not everybody thinks this is a good idea. Before we get into that, let me talk about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or SPR, is a U.S. government complex of 4 sites with deep underground storage caverns created in salt domes along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf coasts. It is managed by the Office of Petroleum Reserves with the purposes of protecting the U.S. from severe petroleum supply disruptions and ensuring the U.S. can meet its international energy obligations. In addition to crude, the SPR includes smaller stockpiles of ultra-low sulfur diesel and gasoline. As of November 12th of this year, the SPR was at 606 million barrels of its current authorized storage capacity of 714 million barrels. As you can see from this chart from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, there has been a draw on the SPR since July of 2020. So sure, a draw on the SPR could have the effect of increasing gasoline supply and reducing prices at the pump. But the effect is only going to be short-term, and here's why. There is no guarantee that supply can keep up with demand, especially in our new reality of supply chain disruptions. Additionally, there is no guarantee that a release will actually increase production. And there is no guarantee that any increased supply will stay in the U.S. versus being exported. So far, OPEC has been disciplined on the supply side. As long as they maintain their discipline, global markets will be short, meaning that export economics will set the expectation for U.S. prices. You might be wondering, what does the SPR have to do with petrochemicals? Well, if you are, then the Petchem Global Market Intel Advisory, delivered by the Petrochemical Strategies Expert Network and supported by IIR Energy and powered by i2 Enabled, can help. If you have questions and want answers, ask me. You can reach out to me directly through my website or to the IIR Energy team by email. Both addresses are shown on your screen. Let's turn now to the global supply picture over the last week and what we can expect for the next week. I am using the PCGMI Start of Day dashboard to look at global capacity availability. In this view, I can see global available production capacity for ethylene, propylene, butadiene, aromatics, and pyrolysis fuel oil based on the feed slate at each cracker. If I want to take a look at a specific region, such as Europe as you see here, I can drill into those details. Let's talk about the details. Last week, available capacity in Asia fell mostly due to outages at Fujian Refining and Petrochemicals, the Saudi Aramco ExxonMobil joint venture in China, as well as at Huizhou Ethylene No. 1, a China National Offshore Oil and Shell Petrochemicals joint venture. As mentioned last week, we expected additional capacity to come online in Europe with the restart of LyondellBasell in Germany. In North America, the loss of available capacity was due to an outage at the Congrajara Petrochemical Complex in Mexico. By the end of the week, we see gains in all regions except Europe, where there's no change. The biggest available capacity gains are coming from North America with the restarts of Nova Chemicals' Geismar facility and the Morelos Petrochemical Complex in Mexico. In Asia, several smaller outages are offset by the restart of Kuwait's olefins companies, Olefins Complex 2. Also, by the end of the week, we expect to see the restart of Stavrolin's Budanovsk chemical complex in Russia. Let's turn now to look at the headlines. China implemented a plastic ban in January 2021, and since then, degradable plastics have been in short supply. This has prompted many Chinese chemical companies to invest in the field, as the law restricts single-use plastics products, especially for restaurants who use plastic straws and stores who use plastic shopping bags. With few exceptions, Industrial Info's North American Industrial Project Spending Index has shown increased project investments each month this year, as the economy has slowly recovered from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and low oil and gas prices. One of the exceptions is spending on oil, gas, and liquids pipelines, which has seen year-over-year increases for only 2 months so far this year. And finally in the news, Nova Chemicals is close to completing a turnaround of its 1.95 billion pound per year ethylene unit in Geismar, Louisiana, which began on October 9th. A restart attempt is expected over the upcoming weekend. Thank you for watching the Petrochemical Weekly Update. I am going to be off next week for Thanksgiving, and I wish each and every one of you a safe and happy holiday week. If you have any questions about anything you saw here today, just ask me. My name is Robert Sawchuk, and I'll see you next time.